Now let us take a look at what is transpose and pivoting and unpivoting. With these options, in the case of Power Query Editor, how we can do the data shaping. I just go to the Power Query Editor. Okay, I just undo this one, rename the columns, added index. I just remove even change the type is not required here. Fine. I just simply close this one. First of all, what is transpose is all about, what is pivoting is all about, and what is unpivoting. We will first understand what exactly transpose is all about. In the case of transpose, it rotates an entire table. Okay, 1 second. I think I did not enable this one. Yeah, I have done this one. That's the problem. 1 second. What exactly transpose? To rotate an entire table such that columns are converted to rows and rows are converted to columns. If you want to convert from columns to rows and rows to columns, then you can go for transpose. For example, this is the data set, and here you want to, in this case, each city we stored the data row wise, Bangalore, Chennai, date wise, right? And instead of storing the city row wise, if we want to store the city in column wise, so here Pune, and Pune, all the three data, right? So 280, 643, and 452. If I want to rotate this, then we can go for transpose. Look here, in this case, all these row became column. So Pune, you just imagine that if you rotate it, what will happen? See something like this, right? You have Pune, and Pune you have whatever 280 is there, right? It will come here 280 and 643 and 452. You just think, if you pull this right like this, the entire row, and if it stands like this, right, that is what you can do. So Pune, this one will become a column. This row becomes column. This entire row become a column here. So to convert a row to column, and again you want to convert it back from your column to rows, just click on the transpose one more time. You can get it back like this. Okay. This is what your original format. You got the original format again, right? You can rotate it. So basically, if you want to reshape the data, and if you want to view the data in different format, this is very much helpful. The transpose. And the next one is pivoting, converting rows into columns. So the same thing we can do it with transpose, but the advantage of transpose is you can convert rows into columns and columns, rows into columns and columns into rows. But with pivoting, you can convert the rows into columns. That's it. Okay. And the next one is unpivoting. We have something called unpivoting. Unpivoting is an opposite of your pivoting. Okay, and converting columns into rows. Pivoting is, what is pivoting? Pivoting is converting rows into columns, the same thing. Okay, the rows into columns. And again you want to convert the uh, supposing you want to convert the columns into rows. See, rows to columns, columns to rows, you can do it separately with pivoting and unpivoting. With transpose you can do both in one go. Okay, I'll just show you with an example so that you'll be able to understand in Power Query Editor. I'll give you a demo here and Discord. And I just go to the Power Query Editor. Before that, I will use one simple data so that you will be able to understand quickly. For the sake of simplicity, I'll just use a simple data. And here I have something called expenses. So, now you can see that inside the Power Query Editor, also you can connect to the source system file. Not necessarily have to go to the Power BI desktop here, get data, but here also we can do it. So look here, when you click on the home, 1 second, let it load it. Okay, so here the expenses table got loaded. Look here, I just selected home. Being inside the Power Query editor, we can see the new source option. Here also you can load the data. Fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the transform ribbon. We have something called transpose here. Okay. And if I click on the transpose, let us see what happens. So earlier, look here, when we looked at the data, it was like this, right? The 2020, everything. And this one became columns now. 20, 20, 20, 20, something like that. The second one, the rows became columns. Okay, if I hit this one more time, you will get back the original format. Okay, if you want to rotate, view the data in different angle, you can use transform. And for example, we have another option called pivot column. Here what I do is I just undo this. Okay, here what I do is I just select the year column, and then I click on transform, and we have something called pivot column. I just select this one by selecting the year column. And here values is something like the measures, the numeric or quantitative value. Here new advanced options, you want to perform sum, let it be there. By default the aggregation option is sum in this case. If I click on OK, let's see what happens. The year, look here, this is what our data, this, it convert the rows into columns. Remember this, in pivot, you can convert the rows into columns. So earlier it was rows, right? 2020 something like that. That one became columns. The same thing we did it in transpose, right? That is what we see it here. And if I want to unpivoting, okay, what I do is I just go here and I do unpivot columns. I click on the unpivot. 2021 attribute value. Okay. You can get something like this, right? But the same format. This is your pivoted column. So I did some kind of unpivoting on this specific column month. Okay. So here let's say 2021. The first record is for this is your month value. That is what we can see here. Month is 1 2 3 4 6 7 8 9, and then you have something called attribute value. You can specify Jan, Feb, March, something like that. Okay, something like that. But so we use it for different purpose, this one. Anyhow, what I will do is I select all these three columns now, and I go back, I go to the transform ribbon. I just click on the unpivot. Look here, we got back the original format. This is what the original data, right? Look here, you click on the source, not this one, sorry. And if you go here, promoted errors, this is what our original format. So year, month, expenses, the unpivoted, the year, it is a little bit year, month, right? So year, if you can drag it here and just you type it here, you can change it like this. This is something like expenses. You can do pivoting and unpivoting. But if you note this data here, or if you note the options here, the unpivot columns, there are three options are there. I just use this option now, and we will explore these two options. Unpivot other columns. This is a beautiful feature. For example, if I see in this case, if I to unpivot with this option, okay, what is that? The first option, I need to select all the columns which I want to unpivot it. Rather, I just select only one column. I just go to the transform, and then here unpivot other columns. Instead of selecting each and every column, let's assume that you have 20 columns are there. You have to manually select all the 20 columns. Instead, you select only only one column, or those columns you don't want to unpivot. You just select that one, and then select unpivot. That's it. So year, month, expenses. You got it. So how to this is for ease of use. They've given these options. Unpivot only selected columns. Only selected column I want to unpivot it. So for example, if I select month, the same thing here. If I do unpivot only selected columns, I just want to unpivot only this column. It will be something like this. Okay, if you specify Jan, February month, right? So you can specify it here, so that January month, how much sales we made, something like that. So now you understood these three options. Unpivot. In the case of unpivot, you need to select all the columns that you want to unpivot it. Whereas in the case of unpivot other columns, select the column which you don't want to do unpivot. Just click on this. Okay, it will do this. Select only selected columns. Unpivot only selected columns. Now you understood the difference between what is pivoting and what is unpivoting. Unpivoting is an opposite. So in the case of pivot, we convert the rows into columns. In the case of unpivot, we convert the columns into rows. But in the case of transpose, we can do both in one go. Okay, just click on it once, and but it is basically rotating the data. Okay, we cannot say exactly it is doing that. It is rotating the data like this. Okay, let me do one thing. I just this is what pivoted column, and if I want to do some kind of transpose with this data, you can see that the row became columns. Which row? The month, right? Month was earlier, it was row. Look here, the 1 2 3 4 6 7 8 9. But when I use the right, it rotated, so it converted your column. So 1 2 3, you can see this way also. And then what you can do is you can go here and you can use first row as so that the 1 2 3 will go here. We will get to know this is month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4. And other thing is like where is the year here? So year is not, yeah, year has gone here. 1 second, let me just go to the pivoted column. And yeah, so these things are your thing, right? So 5,000, 5,000, 6,000. Yeah, this one became column here, right? So this is month one. All this value become a part of your month one here, right? And here what we can do is I just transposed it. Yeah, so you can rotate that data like this. Okay. And what I would suggest you is I will share this one. So you just use this option. For example, I do that step also. Okay, and 1 2 3 is there, and here I need a column wherein 20 21 22. Okay, and month one, year 2020, what is the sales, right? No, you cannot do that way. No. Okay, so this is how you can do it. So what I thought, right? So this is 2020, 2021, 2022, right? So along with that, if you do some kind of unpivoting and display the year here, right? Somewhat, yeah, right. So here, if you display that 20, 21, 22, then it will be good. Okay, but here the first of all the year is not coming here. Simply it rotate the data. That's all. Okay, so now you understood this one. Probably you can try it out, right? See if you can use the pivot and unpivot option, and then you see if you can conversion. Or for example, we will go back to this one, or I will do one thing. Okay, Yeah, so here I just go here and click on Unpivot Columns. Yes, now we got this one. So this is for month 1, 2020. For the 9 month, we display like this. Okay, and each year, right, month wise, we are showing it. Now you just play around with this and show me month 1, 2020, and month 1. Yeah, this is simply you can do sorting here. Sort. You can do it in ascending. That's it. You got it right. So yeah. So in that case, you understood now for January month 2021, January month 2020, January month 2022. So how much expense we incurred. So now you understood, right? With this, you can play around and you can convert the data format. You can reshape the data in different format. Okay. So you can suppose if they ask some report like this, you can create it like this. You can, by playing around with this, you can do it. Simply you need to sort it, right? So I just sorted in ascending order, and here also you can sort it in ascending order. And but here, if I sort it like this, will it work? Yes. January 2020, what is the expense? And 2021 Jan. Yeah, this is what I want you to do it, but anyhow I did it. I just save this one, close and apply. With these three options, you understood how we can reshape the data. To summarize, transpose, we can use it to convert your columns into rows and rows into columns. With pivoting, you can convert the rows into columns. And with unpivoting, you can convert the columns into rows.